They say the scariest monsters aren't the ones hiding under your bed. They're the ones who smile at you across the dinner table, who tuck you in at night, who call themselves family. I learned that the night I came home too soon. The night I discovered what my parents had buried beneath our house. I wasn't supposed to come home that evening. I had told my parents I'd be staying with a friend all weekend, but something tugged at me, a restless whisper in my chest, an urge I couldn't shake. I remember the strange heaviness in the air as I unlocked the front door of our old family house. Everything looked normal. Too normal. "Mom, Dad, Grandpa," I called out. My voice echoed against the walls. No answer. I stepped inside, noticing how the living room lamps glowed warmly, as if the house wanted to appear cozy for anyone peeking in. But there was an unsettling silence. No faint humming of Grandpa's radio. No sound of his slippers dragging across the wooden floor. Grandpa always greeted me first. Always. When my parents finally appeared from the kitchen, they were smiling in a way that didn't sit right with me. "Oh, honey," my mother said lightly. "You're back early. Where's Grandpa?" I asked. My father chuckled, almost smirking. "He's at a retreat. Needed some time away." But the way they exchanged glances like they were sharing a secret made my skin crawl. And then I heard it, faint, hollow, a sound that didn't belong. Knocks. Knocks coming from underground. Growing up, Grandpa was more than just family. He was my anchor. My parents were distant, obsessed with appearances and wealth. They loved to host extravagant parties to show off their success. But at home, their affection felt like performance art. Smiles plastered only when others were watching. Grandpa, on the other hand, was real. He sat with me through storms, both the ones outside our windows and the ones in my heart. He taught me patience when I fumbled with piano keys, courage when I stumbled with life. He smelled of tobacco and old books, and his hands, calloused yet gentle, always made me feel safe. But lately, I noticed how my parents grew impatient with him. They called him a burden. I overheard late-night arguments about money, about inheritance, about how Grandpa's presence was holding things back. I hated those words. I hated how casually they dismissed the man who had given them everything. Still, never in my darkest imagination did I think they would go this far. That night, standing in the hallway, the faint knocking pulled me like a magnet. My parents kept smiling, urging me to sit, to relax, to eat. But I walked slowly, my ears straining. The knocks were coming from the basement. Our basement had always been off limits. My parents told me it was where they stored chemicals and dangerous equipment. As a child, I obeyed. As a teenager, I grew curious but never dared to enter. Now, as a grown woman, I realized I was about to disobey that rule for the first time. And for the first time, I would discover the truth they buried beneath our home. I pretended to head upstairs. My parents watched me carefully. I shut my bedroom door loudly, then waited in silence. When I was sure they were distracted, I slipped out barefoot, creeping down the hallway. The basement door creaked faintly when I touched it. My heart hammered as I turned the knob. It was unlocked. The smell hit me first. Damp concrete mixed with something metallic, something sharp like rust and blood. And then the sound again. Knock. 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 Faint but desperate. "Grandpa." My voice cracked. The knocks paused. Then frantic. Louder. I raced down the stairs, my phone flashlight cutting through the suffocating darkness. That's when I saw him. Grandpa chained to a metal pipe, his clothes torn, his skin pale, his lips trembling as he tried to form my name. My heart shattered. "Grandpa. Oh my God." I dropped to my knees, fumbling at the chains, tears burning my eyes. "What did they do to you?" His voice was broken from thirst. "Don't trust them." I froze. My parents. Suddenly, footsteps echoed upstairs. The basement door slammed shut. A lock clicked into place. I was trapped. The air thickened with panic as my parents' voices drifted through the floorboards. "She wasn't supposed to come back tonight," my mother hissed. "She knows now," my father muttered. "We'll have to deal with her too." Grandpa clutched my hand, his weak grip trembling. "They want my inheritance, control of everything. They think if I die, it's all theirs." The truth punched me harder than any physical blow. My own parents, people who raised me, who tucked me in at night, had chained him down like an animal. And now I was next. I dialed 911 with shaking hands, whispering into the phone, "Please help. My parents have my grandfather locked in the basement. They've locked me down here too. Please hurry." The dispatcher's calm voice kept me steady as I gave the address, but I knew help might take minutes, maybe too many. Above us, the lock rattled. My father's heavy footsteps descended. I turned off my flashlight, plunging us into darkness. The basement door creaked open, and his silhouette appeared. "You shouldn't have come back, sweetheart," he said softly, almost mockingly. "Now you've ruined everything." My pulse raced. "You're monsters." He stepped closer, holding something metallic in his hand, a wrench. "It's not personal. It's survival. You'll understand one day." But something in me snapped. I wasn't the scared little girl anymore. I wasn't going to let them hurt Grandpa or me. I grabbed a loose piece of broken pipe from the ground, my grip fierce. "Come closer," I whispered. When he lunged, I swung. The clash echoed like thunder in the basement. He stumbled, cursing, and I darted toward Grandpa. Chains rattled as I tried to free him, my hands slick with sweat. My father recovered, lunging again, but this time Grandpa kicked out, tripping him. We both scrambled, adrenaline fueling us. The sirens outside grew louder. But so did my father's rage. Just as police lights flashed through the windows, my mother stormed into the basement. She wasn't empty-handed. She held a knife. Her face twisted with desperation. "You ruined us," she screamed. "Everything we built, everything we deserved." Her eyes weren't a mother's eyes anymore. They were wild, hollow, filled with greed. She charged. I intercepted, the knife grazing my arm, burning hot with pain. I shoved her back, fury coursing through me. "You don't deserve this family," I screamed. "You don't deserve him." Sirens wailed louder. Officers stormed in. Chaos erupted. My parents thrashed, screamed, swore. But soon they were dragged away in handcuffs, their faces masks of rage and defeat. And I collapsed beside Grandpa, sobbing into his chest. The weeks after blurred into hospital visits, police interviews, court hearings. The world saw the polished mask of my parents crumble into dust. Headlines screamed about their betrayal, about the greed that drove them to lock away the very man who had given them everything. Grandpa recovered slowly. His body was frail, but his spirit unbroken, and I stayed by his side every moment, the bond between us stronger than ever. But the scars ran deep. I couldn't look at family photos the same way. Every smile in those pictures now felt like a lie. And yet in the darkness of that basement, something was reborn in me. Strength, resolve, revenge. Not in the form of violence, but in truth. I testified against them, my voice steady, my story unwavering. I made sure the world knew exactly what they had done. They thought silencing Grandpa would bring them fortune. Instead, it destroyed them. And as I sat on the porch one evening, Grandpa's frail hand resting on mine, he whispered words that still echo in my heart. "They tried to bury us. But you, my dear, you made sure we bloomed." I looked at him, tears brimming. "They'll never hurt you again. I promise." The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in bruised purples and reds. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peace, because I had faced monsters. And I had won. Because in the end, monsters don't always come with claws or fangs. Sometimes, they come wearing the faces of the people you trust most.